A key part of my job, realistically, is being the naysayer to an extent and trying to keep, the trains on the tracks, trying to keep things moving, keep things so they don't get out of hand. And one of the things that I see with most young artists, most developing artists, most even established artists, with what I did too when I was in bands 10, 12 years ago, was you have this hunger to get on the road, get out there, play shows, think, okay, if we can just do that, if we can just get the booking agent, just get the manager, just get that show, that next thing is what's gonna take you over the edge and take you to the top. And the reality of the situation is you need to take a deep dive into yourself and figure out what your purpose is, what your reality is, and why it makes sense for you to do it at that time. Key purpose is to be authentic. That's what I'm saying, is don't get on a tour too early. Don't jump and go tour just because you feel the necessity to, that's the next step, that's what I need to do. Because by jumping the gun, at times you could hurt yourself and your opportunity more than something else. Being authentic will create those connections with your audience. What's your what? It's kind of, what are you doing? What's the purpose? What's the reasoning behind it? One of the big things that Donald does whenever we do anything with Childish Gambino is, what's occurring there, why is it occurring, and what is the purpose of it? If it doesn't have a purpose, I'm not doing it. It doesn't matter why, it doesn't matter what. If it's just for more streams, more sales, more whatever, it doesn't belong. What's your why? I kind of alluded to that with a what. Like, why are you doing this? What is the goal? Can you live without it, or is this all you know? If you can live without it, you should definitely keep playing music, you should definitely perform, but going on tour might just be a fun experience for you, which is great, which you should do that. Everyone should experience that. It could be great, but if there's not a reason or an attainable goal from that, that's something that, you want to really take into account. In terms of shows, the best ability is availability. What that means is if someone comes to you with a show that is a good fit and a good opportunity, don't take things that are bad for you. But if there's a good fit and a good opportunity, don't be too proud. Don't be in an opportunity where you think that you are above something or you're beyond there. If you really are, don't take it. Don't do that. But right now, I'm guessing where a lot of people are and trying to grow it, take that as an opportunity, whether it's a paid rehearsal to get new fans at the same time, and use that to gauge those experiences and to build relationships with those fans. That is the biggest way that you're gonna grow your fan base, is to form these relationships with those people. If you're playing in New York, you should know the first 500 people that come to your shows over the next few years by first name. Have relationships with them. Even if they're just at the bar, go say hi to them. Even if it's on Instagram or if it's on Twitter or something else, start building a relationship and have something there, because those people are gonna wanna brag about you. Those fans are those people for you. They're gonna tell you, they're gonna come to your show because they have that relationship with you, and they're not just gonna say, I'm tired, I wanna watch Netflix tonight. They're gonna say, I'm tired, but Dave needs me there to support him. They feel ownership, they feel pride, they feel like they're part of it. And at the end of the day, you just gotta say yes. I mean, it's scary, it's terrifying. Creating different opportunity and creating something new, especially if you're doing it and you're exposing your true self, and you're using that to build your show, which is going to be the longer process, the harder process, the more successful process at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if they like it or not, if they're not connecting with you. It's the same thing your parents said to you when you were a kid, is be yourself, people are gonna love it. The reality of the situation is you're not here to play the middle ground and just try and hope you don't offend people. You're trying to be here and have the most connected, the best fans that you can, who understand you as an artist and want to support you and grow you, because they're tied to that. That said, I want to hear more about you guys, what you guys are doing, ask some general questions, and then I want to kind of curate and form that conversation.
From a touring perspective, I'm curious to understand what you believe the place for analytics is in touring, from the perspective of expansion.
I mean, it's really important. A lot of the analytics in touring, there'll be a couple different aspects. One, in terms of analytics, it's looking at past touring history at the same time and looking at how an artist did in a certain market. If an artist did terrible in that market and there hasn't been some reason that says like recent radio airplay or something like that, unless it's a connecting date, try and stay out of that market. Using those analytics of past touring, looking at grosses, looking at how things moved, even as far as sales from the on sale to even if it's like walk up or last minute. That'll help dictate how you build a show, promote a show, outlay marketing materials for a show and a marketing plan. And then at the same time, it's the same way as far as merchandise for the most part, looking at past sales, looking what's there, also looking at like-minded artists.
I don't want to cut you off, but I wanted to know specifically from that perspective, or from your perspective to us, if there are any metrics or specific tools that you use or are a fan of or think that we should be interested in.
In terms of general fandom in cities, Spotify is one of the best. Spotify can provide you who's listening to what, when, it can provide you where. It's one of the best opportunities for that. When I say double check that, I mean use past touring history, use past artists. Same thing, like I said, is also you have to look at basic things like day of the week, basic things of time of year, any of those, like every one of those things plays into it. So you're always gonna start and try and find a city using something like Spotify, find things that like, okay, what is my actual listening data there? Then you're gonna kind of run it across a multitude of platforms and try and put it all together to find out what's real, and at the same time listen to those people who've been there before you. So you're gonna use a multitude across the whole spectrum to try and like piece that together.
Hey, how's it going? My question for you, I have a band, and after a couple different releases, when we finally had our like debut album, we were on an indie label, so we just put it out, and then we sort of tried to shop it around to booking agents. And the response we got from everybody was like, well, what do you have that's unreleased? What have we not heard? And we were like, we just put this out. What do you mean? At what point do you like deserve a booking agent, or do you really need a booking agent? And where's the line between like just continuing to book like DIY tours and then trying to get somebody on board? And what do you think is the best approach?
There's a couple things to that, and sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
the first thing about that in terms of do you have unreleased music, you have this and that, that means someone's interested but not enough to do something about it, and it's the old A&R booking agent everything game. No one wants to pass on something because they never want to be the guy that passed on something. So it's hoping that next thing is worth it, hoping that next thing they can really push it. But the reality with booking agents is, this is the callous thing to say, if you're not worth tickets and worth money, you're worth nothing to them because they only make commission. So at the same time, even if they love it, that's when you're gonna get someone that, if someone just puts their hand up and says, I love this, I wanna support it, I'll be a part of it, I'm not worried about making money on it, take that person, grab that person.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing in terms of, like I said, that money, that job, that girl, that whatever, is that booking agent isn't gonna suddenly make things come true for you. If they're interested, get them to a show. Say, we have stuff, it's not recorded, come to this show. Or more than that, if it seems serious and you've gotten a friendship with someone at that venue, if they've got a relationship, have them reach out and speak on your behalf. That's what I've told people already, is like, there's a lot of people that I don't know in this industry. There's a lot of people that if I called myself, wouldn't take my call or answer on email because they don't really know me. But there's also a lot of people that I know that I can say, hey, I need to know that person. Can you introduce us?
When should we say no to something that doesn't feel right?
You find an opportunity and see if something fits, and sometimes it's worth doing if it's not costing you anything. For example, one thing like Run the Jewels did a couple years ago, we thought we knew exactly where things lied and exactly where it was, and have a really good sense of the crowd. But we said with this album, with Run the Jewels 3, as I'm sure Amit could tell you because we worked together on that, we did a lot of different festivals too that worked out just to say, hey, can this cross here? Can this work there? We did EDM festivals. We did different things just to see, can these crowds accept this, and can these crowds be a part of this? There was no negative response from that. Okay, is this really the lane, or are those people there because they're on drugs and they're at a festival? Like, okay, cool, that was great. These people liked it, but this isn't something that we're truly being able to expand upon. So we know, you get a sense of, okay, this crowd isn't for me. Let me stop beating a dead horse of just trying to play to these same people over and over again. And that's why I say is like, as you find your true you, those people are going to also, it's gonna be a little bit more revealed as far as that goes and where you fit in. If there are people who just like really like a song and like it's there but aren't connected to you for any reason, they're gonna go, oh, this person's terrible, or this person sold out, or this or that. If you're literally a fan of that and just wanna try something different, go for it. Then at the same time, when you do that stuff, don't be afraid to do it. But if you don't feel like that is representative of you and you're just trying to appeal to a market base, just don't put it out. Don't put anything with that. Like, don't do something if you think it's going to open up if it's not something that you're connected with.
Christian Coffey, thank you so much.